Aloha! Welcome to Mystic Wisdom Dialogues with Wayne Kealohi Powell, broadcasting from the largest ocean in the world on this little tiny island called Kauai in the neighborhood of Kapahi in the northern hills of Kapaa. Welcome everyone, whether you're coming to the live stream or you are going to watch the replay. I got carried away in a dialogue before the opening here, and I hope there's a good place for that because there was some wonderful things shared in there. Yet, nevertheless, and you know, it's funny because in the dialogue before the recording started, we were edging toward the topic. Because I'm finding that as I'm doing this work, I realized driving back from the beach this morning while I was coming up the hill, how much work it is to actually retrain your mind, retrain my mind. I'll bring it home. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of consistency to remember to do the workbook lesson and to give it the time that it needs to drop in deeper and really root within me. And I got to admit, honestly, I'm not doing that great a job with consistency, which has kind of been a challenge all my life in various ways. Being consistent. I'm just kind of person that just follows my passion, you know, and it's gotten me in a lot of trouble, and it's made some incredibly creative, wonderful things as well. Because synchronicities are happening all the time, just following my passion. Yet, here's the deal. Here's what I see we're all after, even if we don't know it, okay? We may know it intellectually, that we are spirit in a body. Everyone is like, I got that. Okay, so how do we become that? How do we actually walk in this world as spirit, as love, as light in this body? How do we do that with a full experience of light and love and spirit and forgiveness are walking in the world as me? Wow. Okay, well, I was wondering what to say today, and I opened the book, and here's what happened. Spirit is in the state of grace forever. Your reality is only your spirit. Okay, let's go over that again. Let's root this today, okay? Spirit is in the state of grace forever. This is the one spirit. We refer to it as the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of wholeness, the Spirit of aloha, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't matter. It's that energy that lives in everything as its source. So, let's say that again. Spirit is in the state of grace forever. Now that's easy to buy because my ego thinks, well, Spirit's separate from me, so yeah, it's in state of grace. And yet, our reality is only our spirit. Now there's no separation. Now we are everything and everything is us. And the third line. Therefore, we are in the state of grace forever. Now doesn't that make sense? It's so practical. We'll try that again. Spirit is in the state of grace forever. Breathe that in, close your eyes. Say it to yourself. Feel it inside. Spirit is in the state of grace forever. My reality is only my spirit. Breathe it in. Say it to yourself. My reality is. Feel it inside. Therefore, I am in the state of grace forever. Breathe it in. Say it 3 times. I am in the state of grace forever. I am in the state of grace forever. I am in the state of grace forever. Now let that in. And doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? See, now we're living God's will for us in this moment. That feeling of being in the state of grace is God's will for us. The Course puts it this way. God's will for you is perfect happiness. So let's say it in the first person. God's will for me is perfect happiness. Say that and breathe it in. God's will for me is perfect happiness. And feel the truth in that. Yes, we're all evolving together, closer and closer, every day, every moment, as we remember these things. Yeah. All right. And then the other page they wanted me to share is a couple of principles of miracles. In the beginning of the book, there are 50 principles of miracles, and there are also some sub-principles to the principles. Here we go. This is principle 4. Miracles are habits and should be involuntary. Now, what is a miracle, you may ask yourself? Well, it's love. It's love being itself. It's love that, like light, dispels the darkness. So no matter what's happening, when you bring love to it, a miracle is in place. And it says, miracles are habits and should be involuntary. So in other words, they happen automatically, all the time, as we learn to love ourselves and others. Miracles are habits that should be involuntary. Otherwise, they may become undemocratic. Whoa, you got to tell that to the politicians. Okay, miracle number 5, principle number 5. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Why is that? Because love is what it's all about. Love is what is the absolute glue that holds heaven together. Love is what we're feeling when we're really happy and feeling an anchored joyousness of being human. Love is what happens when we fall in love, because we see someone's innocence and they see our innocence equally, and there's no guilt, there's no shame, there's no judgment. Love is happening. A lot of light is happening. Yeah. So I love that. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. Miracles, okay, principle 6. Miracles are everyone's right, but purification is necessary first. Aha. And that leads me to think that if there isn't purification, that we would misuse, we would try to make something happen because our ego wants it to happen. It's funny, it reminds me of an experience I had last week. with a woman and her daughter. We were talking about miracles and prayer, and she said that her daughter, which is, I don't know, I think maybe 7 years old, is really onto this prayer thing and the miracles thing. And I said, oh yeah, well, how does that look? And she says she gets very reverent, she closes her eyes, and then she wishes for everything she wants from the world. I laughed and I said, oh, so she thinks God is Santa Claus. That's kind of cool. Her mom, she nodded. It's, yep, that's it. Okay, principle 7. Miracles are a form of healing. We can all feel that. Because they supply a lack and are performed by those who have more for those who have less. Now that makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, let's read that one again. I like that one. Miracles are a form of healing. They supply a lack and are performed by those who have more for those who have less. And close your eyes and just let that in without judgment. Because we had this talk last week with CL about energy and being depleted by giving. And here it is right here. They supply a lack and are performed by those who have more for those who have less. Because see, in the principles of miracles, giving is receiving. From the ego, when you give something away, you have less. When the spirit is overflowing with love and you give that, it increases. You have more. Principle 8. Miracles are a kind of exchange. Like all expressions of love, which are always miraculous in the true sense, the exchange reverses physical laws. And that's how it is. You wind up with more love when you give love. Because there's no end to the supply of love. It's who we are. Principle 9. A miracle is a reversal of the physical order because it brings more love to the giver and the receiver simultaneously. Now there you go. That's why all we want to give is love. No matter what the world looks like, no matter how bad the nightmare seems to be on the world here, the only thing that affects it is to give love. Just think, when you think of all the places in the world where there are wars, and people are being physically killed, to judge that as an injustice doesn't help. It contracts your energy, as judgment always contracts energy. What helps is to love everyone on both sides of the war equally. Because we are all one and we are all equal. We all receive the sun and the rain and the wind and the earth and food and shelter because we're all given everything equally. And, God doesn't have favorites. Like the little girl would think in her wish list of everything she wants. Yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Principle 11. in the beginning of A Course in Miracles. Prayer is the medium of miracles. Prayer is the natural communication between the created and the Creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. Wow, I love this one. No wonder I love to pray. I'm going to read that one again. You guys close your eyes and let this sink in deeper. Take a deep breath from above. Yeah, let's go vertical. Prayer is the medium of miracles. Prayer is the natural communication between the created and the Creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. So you can see the cascade of ripples when love shows up in a circumstance or a situation or in a conversation, or even when things seem to be going all wrong. You can ask yourself, in the midst of that, what would love do? How would love respond to this? And listen carefully. It could respond in so many different ways. Sometimes the response is silence and just rippling love from your aura into the circumstance that you're witnessing that is dark. Nasty things are being said. People are being hurt. Maybe there's violence. Whatever. When you do this prayer of connecting to who you really are in the midst of darkness, no words need to be said, because you're not going to control the situation, but you can influence it with your love. Breathe in and just ripple it out from your heart into the environment that you're standing in. I remember once attending a Sunday service with Neil Donald Walsh as the guest speaker. And he got up to the podium and he said, he was crying because he said there was so much love in this chapel, the songs and the choir and the lyrics, and it just overwhelmed him. And then he shared with us that wherever he goes in the world to speak or to heal or just to visit, he stands at the threshold of the room, and before entering, he closes his eyes and he reminds himself. He says to himself, I'm here to heal the room. I'm here to heal the space. I'm here to heal everything. And then he steps into the room, into the activities that are about to happen. Isn't that lovely? I just love that. A miracle, Principle 13. A miracle is a beginning and an ending. It thus abolishes time. It is always an affirmation of rebirth. which seems to go back, but really goes forward. It undoes the past in the present, and thus releases the future. Wow. Wow. That is so metaphysical. Wow. Let's do that again. That's Principle 13, Course in Miracles. Now, we're not in the workbook. We're in the beginning of the text. There are 50 principles of miracles with lots of subcategories in some of them. Principle 13. A miracle is a beginning and an ending. It thus abolishes time. It is always an affirmation of rebirth, which seems to go back, but really goes forward. It undoes the past in the present, and thus releases the future. It undoes the past in the present and releases the future. That is pure Ho'oponopono. Absolutely pure. Yet the Course in Miracles, it focuses on nothing ever happened. When something is in the past, or even in the present part of the dream, there's nothing going on. I mean, that's a really radical teaching. That there's nothing going on here right now. Nothing going on. And the reason that is one of the principles is because this is impermanent. And the Course is out to really train us in the light of who we are as permanence, as spirit. Something that has no beginning and no ending and no middle is spirit. Creator, God. Yeah. And we were created in that image. So that is who we are, as children of infinity, of eternity, of immortality. We are the children of such. So when we get that, a miracle undoes the past in the present and thus releases the future. So when the past is gone, there's no more guilt, there's no more shame, there's no more blame. And when the idea that there's nothing going on here is in place, then what happens here doesn't really matter in the scheme of who we truly are. And that is very difficult to buy. If there is a shred of ego left, that's not going to be fully bought. Yeah. That is an absolute transparent belief. Yeah. But think of how free you would be if there is no past. If there was no past. If you never did anything wrong. If you never said anything wrong. If you never made a mistake. See, this is why I was saying earlier how difficult it is. The discipline that it takes to retrain the mind is phenomenal. It is for me. Like I said earlier, I was driving up the hill from the beach and realizing how much discipline and consistency it takes to retrain my mind, to buy those concepts, to actualize them in my life. And when I do, and I get glimpses of not having a past, really strong glimpses, waves of the not having a past, and so much joy is generated from that as the guilt and the shame disappear. That's why the Course doesn't teach karma or reincarnation. It doesn't teach any concepts that are limiting, that require you to have to pay for anything. You know, and I see now why in the Christian communities the whole idea that Jesus paid for us, why that is so strongly in place. Because in a relative sense, he did. He did. Because what he did was he showed us that the body's not real. By letting the ego have it. Giving it to the ego to destroy it was his proof it's not real. Then he came back to even prove it even more in his light body. You see, all these things, they have a relative truth in them. And yet, the Course in Miracles shines so much light on the interpretation of that for your and mine well-being as peace, as being forgiven. And then the Course also, it's so strong in forgiveness being our only purpose here. Because without forgiveness, there's no way we're going to be able to rid ourselves of the past, of the memories of the past that hurt so much. And it's not a placation kind of forgiveness. It's not a kind of forgiveness that we were taught. Because once again, the mind is wired for separation. We did this, they did that, we said this, they said that, whatever, right? It's all duality. Where the Course, there is no duality in its principles, in its thought system. There is no duality. There's only one spirit, shared equally amongst us all, innocent and pure, and impossible to sin, which means separation from its source. Impossible. And people who have died and come back, they all testify to what's on the other side. It's and they're at a loss for words because it's so intensely warm and beautiful and loving. It's ineffable. It can't be described in words, in language. And it also says in a couple of places, these teachings, that the light that lives within us is brighter than 10,000 of our suns. Now close your eyes and breathe that in for a minute. See if you can touch one spark of that light within you right now. Yeah, let's have a meditation. So let's go vertical. Sit comfortably, open your crown center, and breathe in gold and light from above. And allow Creator as light, your higher self, to pour down inside of you on your inhale and expand around your heart. Allow this light to expand. Every breath, you inhale more and more and more. And now let's bring the breathing in of light to all the organs in your upper torso, digestive and intestinal organs. Let's breathe light into this area. And let it relax on the exhale and feel loved as you tend to it. Okay, now, as you are filled with light, allow that light into the extremities. Allow it to spread to your legs and your arms, neck, head, till all of your bodies are throbbing with golden white sparkles of light. Stardust, if you will. Sparkly, sparkly, sparkly stardust. Now in your mind's eye, I want you to go into your sacred heart chamber and pick one spark of light to put your attention on, even though there are trillions. Pick one. It's not special, it's just one that you're choosing. And as you go into it, imagine that you, as you head into this spark, you're going into the sun. Size does not matter. There is no size to miracles. It is your consciousness that's going into the spark, into the sun. And feel this warmth of love, cosmic light of our Creator. Breathe and feel it throbbing in your heart. Immortality. And now turn up the volume on how bright this light is in your consciousness. Increase it tenfold. And let it shine out from you in all directions. Now increase this light again, another tenfold. How warm, intensely loving it is, overcoming us with its bright, brilliant radiance that casts no shadows. And yet, every shadow disappears in its wake. Everything you've ever thought about yourself that was negative, gone. This is Christ, light, as a verb. Qualified frequency of the consciousness of the Son of God, Christ. It's not religious. It's pure science. Now increase the light again, another tenfold. And feel it overcoming everything in your environment, everyone in your orbit, everyone in your community, On your next breath, increase it again, another tenfold. And let this light emanating from the star that was a speck of spark is now shining so brightly you can embrace the entire planet without doing anything but breathing and allowing your immortality to shine, your innocence, your knowledge of being a child of God. Here to forgive the world and all the illusions it presents us with, so that we can remember who we are, what we are, and why we are here. To shine. And wherever you are, even if you're watching the replay, you're doing this exercise. Become the son of suns, brighter than all the stars in the universe. Using your breath, your imagination, your higher self, and your connection with God. To shine radiance on the world through the heart of forgiveness. The heart that has learned to see everyone as innocent, equal, equally innocent. No matter what's happening in the dream, this is the reality that is beyond the world. My lesson today is very appropriate. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're reaching for that world beyond this illusion, where only peace and joy reside, which is God's will for us. Father, thank you for this gift. This gift of life, that we can learn to be the love that we are. We can learn to forgive ourselves, the illusion, and everyone else, and live in harmony within, without judgment, with compassion for the human condition, which can be so painful. And once again, it too will disappear. All the pains that are being felt today will all disappear into nothing. Let us feel this light that we are in our walk of life on this planet, becoming transparent, not ignoring, not pushing away any of the feelings or the suffering that we see or feel, allowing it, and yet observing it and viewing it from who we truly are, compassionately. in the knowing that we are growing through something that will refine our skills to be more love, to show up and give forgiveness and love, overflowing, infinite supply, wherever we go and in whatever we do. Thank you for the blessing of this life and this environment on earth. And as we embody our wholeness on every level, becomes heaven. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Take a few more deep breaths and anchor this radiance within you so you can take it through your day. Carry it with you. Principle 15. No, let's start with 14. All miracles attest to truth. They are convincing because they arise from conviction. Without conviction, they deteriorate into magic, which is mindless and therefore destructive, or rather, the uncreative use of mind. All miracles attest to the truth. So the truth is what we just experienced. I wanted everyone to have an experience of immortality, living within them, out of time, out of space, yet grounded to the earth and observing your life. So that's the truth. All miracles attest to the truth. So that's what brings love to everything, is living that truth. And it says we need to have conviction for this. There can't be a wavering of, oh, maybe it's true, maybe I'll feel it this day, or maybe, Knowledge and light are the same frequency in science. Knowledge being the knowledge of the truth that is absolute, that has no beginning and no end, and it's always present, regardless of what we're feeling. Okay, principle 15. Each day should be devoted to miracles. Yeah, woohoo! Time was made so you could use it creatively and convince yourself of your own ability to create. Just like what we just experienced. Time is a teaching device and a means to an end. It will cease when it is no longer useful in facilitating learning. And then this is the second part of Principle 15. Have a good day. Since only eternity is real, why not use the illusion of time constructively? You might remember that underneath are the everlasting arms. So within and around everything that is temporary are the everlasting arms that of eternity. You should begin each day with the prayer. Help me to perform whatever miracles you want me to today. Wow. That's a good thing to say when you just jump out of the bed, huh? Or your meditation. Begin each day with the prayer, quote, "Help me to perform whatever miracles you want of me today," end quote. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm warming up. I'm gearing up for the radio show because I've been given the initiative to begin with principles of miracles that I like. Here's principle 16. Miracles are teaching devices for demonstrating that it is as blessed to give as to receive. They simultaneously increase the reserve of strength in the giver and supply the lack of strength in the receiver. Wow. Part 2 of Principle 16. I have forgiven you, and that means all hurt and hate you have ever expressed is totally canceled. Wow. Wow. So now this is Jesus speaking here. I need the children of light now, and I am calling you to be what you once were and must be again. Forget the interval of darkness and be what you were. The interval has vanished without a trace anywhere. You who live so close to God must not give way to guilt. The karmic law demands abandonment for abandoning. But you have received mercy, not justice. Help the children because you love them and you love God. Remember, a miracle is a spark of life. It shines through the darkness and brings in the light. You must begin to forget and remember. Wow, I could go on and on. This is just as good for me as it is for you, and it's proof that what I'm reading is true. That as I give this to you, I receive it in the same moment. And I love that. So, wow. I hope what you've heard here today has helped you in some way. Remember. And perhaps also to forget in regards to your past and what you think you've done and all the karmic laws that are not real. Ah, but you must pay for what you did, young man. Oh, God bless us all. All right, I'm ready for a question. I think I have room for a question. If anybody has something they want to share, doesn't have to be a question. Your experience during that meditation, perhaps?
Well, I came here today with a question because it's something that's going on. So it's so interesting to me that everything today I find has been around the past and reconciling with the past, etc. And I'm surprised and yet not surprised that today is the same thing. Now, here's something that I go through, Wayne, and I feel like the seeds are there in terms of the truth of the situation. So what I find is that I'm trucking along, I'm doing really good, and then I get triggered and dissociate. And so all of a sudden, there's separation. I'm no longer connected to all that I am. There is the separation. And all of a sudden, then I'm just kind of in a dark space. And, well, actually, in a dark space because of the separation more than anything. And I just, and so one of the things that I've been grappling with is, it's huge in my life because in those moments of separation, I feel like because I'm not whole, I'm not making very good choices for myself. So I feel like I end up just creating more havoc for myself. And so one of the things I have is how to relate to my past in such a way that these triggers can stop, because there seem to be below a level of consciousness, in a sense that they're not it's not a choice that I make. It's not even something that I think and go, oh, look. Usually it happens so fast, and I may not even know that the process has started for even a day or two. And then when everything starts to unravel, and I've had it be so that even up to a week, when all of a sudden at the end of the week I'm like, oh, I'm a wreck, and I'm like, when did this start? And then I kind of go back. So I wonder how to deal with those types of things from an unconscious level. And the forgiveness, because I'm kind of thinking maybe it has something to do with forgiveness, or it's to deal with trauma in some way, a trauma that I'm not even present to, but that my brain has this coping mechanism that it continues to separate in order to tolerate or something. I don't know what's going on. It's quite a mystery to me, but it's creating a habit in my life.
Okay, I hear you.
And it's stopping me from moving forward in the light because I keep getting into the darkness. Like tripping, falling into a hole.
No, I get it totally. This is quite human. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. This is good. Very good. This proves what I was saying a couple of times in this dialogue so far about the consistency of the retraining the mind, because those human things are going to come up. They have gravity. You know how strong gravity is? Try and defy it. Jump out of a tree and see if you go up, right? Well, that's what the ego is. Everything physical is of the ego. That's the view of the ego. And there's nothing wrong with it. What you want to do, this is your assignment for this week, and for everyone else who's listening to this replay or in the room here with us on YouTube or Zoom. Your homework this week is to create a healthy detachment, a healthy disengagement from the pattern of those thoughts. Now, the reason it hurts, the reason we suffer, is because there's a belief in place that we are that program, we are those patterns when they come up. Why is that belief? Because we feel it so intensely. And it just, like you said, involuntarily seems to just take us over. And all of a sudden. But if you look at that carefully, like as soon as it starts, as soon as you become aware that it has started, flip on the observer switch and watch the pattern. Now, just like any other pattern, everything is a pattern in this physical dimension. Language is a pattern. Writing is a pattern. Moving your head, walking across the street, brushing your teeth, cooking your dinner, going to the bathroom, driving a car. Everything is a pattern that we play into, just like a video game. So what you have running, Rebecca, are patterns that are so old, they're so strong, they seem unstoppable. So as you cultivate daily as much attention as you can give to it, your connection with your higher self, with your God self, with that part that you just connected to in the meditation, when you cultivate that very strongly, you're building the light in you to intervene when the ego pattern starts. Now, there'll be a tendency for the ego, when you don't catch it right away, your ego will want to beat you up. Oh, you didn't catch that right away, you know. See, the ego's job is to knock us down, to make sure we do not go toward the light, to make sure we do not become our original self. That's the ego's job. And we all have very well trained egos. I can speak for myself. Oh my God. I've been working on some patterns for decades. But look at the levity I bring to it now. Because my discipline and consistency of connecting with my higher self as who I am is obviously overcoming my past. It's overcoming the patterns. It's overcoming me beating myself up for not getting it right when I don't catch the pattern, when I do that thing again, whatever it was, or I think those thoughts again, right? Well, what will happen, Rebecca, as you become stronger in who you truly are, when one of the, because those patterns won't go away. But what will happen is when you become stronger than the pattern, and you're catching it earlier and earlier, you'll look at the pattern and you'll giggle. You'll laugh at it. You know, it's like a little kid tugging on your skirt for more attention. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, not right now. You know, the drama becomes a comedy. And then you know you're home. The drama becomes a comedy. And then you know you're home. And the middle of that word is Om. One with God. Yeah. So now when I see a pattern kick up in me that is old and, you know, relentless, you know, I just decide not to play it. Just like a video game. I'm not going to play that pattern. And it feels so good. It feels so freeing not to have to play the pattern. You see, because your innocence has now made a choice. That you're not going to feel guilty about that pattern anymore, or feel shameful that you're still running it. Doesn't even come up when you decide not to play it. You're voting for the child. The free, innocent being that you are. Takes a lot of practice. But what else is there to do? And remember always to forgive yourself when you run the pattern. Instead of diminish yourself, forgive yourself. It's like, oh no, not that again. Oh yeah, okay, well I'm sorry. Okay. I'll let it go. And then put your attention somewhere else. Once you decide not to play the pattern, make another choice. What do you want to play? Well, I want to play with this thought that, hey, I am innocent. I love that thought. Let's go out and play in the rain. Let's go out and watch the leaves fall off the trees. Let's go out and watch the grass grow. Let's go out and watch the children playing. I think we all feel the same when we hear a bunch of children in a playground, such gleefulness, right? That's who we are. Always. But something happens to us as we learn all of these patterns that pull us down, create gravity. Yeah. And why did we come here? We're learning how to play this game. The game of life on earth. Step 1, forgiveness. Step 2, forgiveness. Step 3, forgiveness of the illusion of all the dysfunction we think we are, and see in the mirror of everyone a shining human beaming, innocent, regardless of how much suffering they're calling to themselves. That's not real. It feels real, I grant you that, but it's temporary. It will come and it will go. Just like everything in this dimension. So focus on what is beyond this dimension. The world behind this world is heaven. And when you become clear and transparent in this game, you'll be living in heaven regardless of what's going on. People will bring you drama and you'll just be laughing because you'll know in your heart of hearts it's not real. But you can't tell them that. They might get pissed off and throw something at you. You have to just, shake your head and smile. That's sovereignty. That's holding your own heaven without having to preach it or improve anybody. No. I mean, that's what Jesus did, He walked around being the Son of God. So when people looked at him, that's what was reflected. An innocent, pure spirit in this human body. That's what was reflected. So they were all affected by that. Reflection so bright and so strong, they couldn't deny it. And Jesus says, we are that as well. He said, you will do more things than I. Well, we certainly outnumber him in the idea of separation. We got the numbers there. But in the idea of unity, we are all one. He is us, we are him. With the Father. One happy family living in light, who decided to make the fall and experience intensity and separation. Yeah. Well, I hope that answers your question.
Couldn't ask for anything more, my dear. Thank you so much. That was lovely.
Thank you for showing up and being such a good reflection for me. All right. Well, oh my gosh. Okay, good. Yeah. I like this new time slot. It gave me time to get to the beach and roll in some waves, have a good breakfast. But you know, Rebecca, even me this morning, you know, I had the same exact experience as you. You know, even suicidal thoughts come up. You know, with the idea of like, you know, when I die physically, who's going to care? All the things that I've accomplished, all the books, all the albums, everything I poured my passion into, the kids and grandchildren. That'll be a thought from time to time. Well, you know, he was a good guy, he was a bad guy, whatever the thought is, doesn't matter. But what do we really leave here that lasts? Reminds me of that Paul Simon tune. I have a photograph, preserve your memories. That's what's left when we leave this body. Those two things, that's it. And the ripples will continue, I'm sure. People will be reading my books for years to come, listening to my albums, you know. But none of that matters. What matters is how happy are they? How much are they living God's purpose for them? God's purpose for you is perfect happiness. And with that, I bid you all farewell and hope to see you next week. Yay! Hi CL, hi Richard, hi Penelope. Thank you for showing up.
Thanks, Wayne. What a beautiful show.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you, CL.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, spread the
We'll be
word.
in touch.
Share the when you finally get them on the replay. Share it with a couple of friends you think might benefit.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll do it.
All right.
All right.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Ahui ho.